All right, cyber traders, good afternoon and welcome on back here this Tuesday, November 8th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Sorry for the hoarse throat here. Welcome on back here for the afternoon meeting. Great to see Leda and Mark. Mark just cleaned up, got $1 on a short. He just took on the stock SI. We'll jump to that one in just a moment. Nice catch from Mark. Great to see Henry and Dan still with us here at least, and Michael from before. Michael got 50 cents also just a moment ago. I saw that just before too on, I think it was Nordstrom. JWN is that? Yeah, that was moving with Coles, right? Earlier today. I think Coles had earnings, KSS. So that could be like a nice little sympathy play to work with, like from your side list. Great to see Leda and Jeff here still with us as well. So let's hop right to it, folks. Just if you had missed out earlier this morning, our Traders Talk workshop, we're going to post that on the student portal, just on our website, just for any of our members, a part of our trading room at least. If you had just joined late, missed out on part of it, we'll have the recording up later on today. But with that, though, cold natural gas ETF, I was just scanning through, nothing too particular about this. It's having a good day, up over 12% year 13, even with it pulling back here. Wouldn't be a bad, one to at least put on our radar, on our watch list. It's an ETF, though. So unless if you have Bookmap, unless if you have level 4, I wouldn't suggest for you to be trading this. Simple as that. So, it's actually beginning to pull back a bit. Let's see if this could build a higher low from here. Then we'll come back to this by the end of this meeting. We'll put this just on the side for right now. I'm not going to put this on the main list just yet. But what we'll do, though, hey, there's a couple of other stocks that did make some good pushes from earlier that are still hanging in there for right now. The market is taking a bit of a bath right now, dropping off quite a bit from 1 p.m. Eastern time. So with that, we're going to follow some shorts like Mark was doing earlier. But let's see what's out there. We'll go from top to bottom. We'll start with the top here. Task, it's up 33%. I knew that this wouldn't be as liquid. I just wanted to check the direction on this. So it's not like looking good either way, up or down. It's just very illiquid. So, going to pass on this one at least. But let's see what else we got. GRWG, a pot stock here. We did pretty nicely on this trade from earlier today, even with that shake in the mid afternoon. With that, it's going to squeeze back up. I wasn't necessarily expecting that, but from the morning, from the market open, it ended up popping. It ended up making a pretty strong move. With that, it ended up running up towards just about 475, and from there, ended up just flattening out. Not a whole lot happening here, folks. So we're going to pass on this one too. It is shortable. If this one ends up snapping below support, this could be a pretty interesting short opportunity, especially if this trend line off the lows pretty much just snaps and breaks. All right, let's see what else we got here. And folks, by the way, just inside the chat room, obviously elections going on right now. You don't care about my political opinion. I know that. I don't care about yours. We're not going to post that in the chat board as much. We want to keep the chat centralized around, trading and call outs. Everyone has their own opinions, but there's other chat rooms for that, right? Other chat boards for that. All right, so we keep it going, though. Neo ended up making a nice move from earlier today, right? It's still kind of hanging in there. It's like making a rounded top, but yeah, right now I'll kind of just put this on the side list. I'll come back to this just at the end. If it ends up tanking from here, I'm not going to be as interested. But hey, if the VWAP could hold and if this could hold better over 9 shortly after, that was a pretty big volume level just from the consolidation build. You can see that on level 3 on the TradeStation Matrix, Andre. So, with that could be a nice level to look at. We'll come back to this one at least by the end of this meeting. Nothing so far that I've put on the main list. I mean, shouldn't expect to see a whole lot so far with the market tanking the way it is. I'm sure that we're going to focus on some shorts, like I'd said. Coinbase taking a big hit today. Lyft broke below 11 earlier. That's only been dropping off ever since. Groupon's been holding kind of well here. I mean, just flat since the late morning. But, if we're talking about the next 75 to 90 minutes of our day, it's hanging in there, hasn't tanked lower, and, building up a little bit. Again, though, not fully committed, though. Not fully committed. I want to see what else is out there. It can be very delicate across the gainer side. Listen, unless if there's a stock that's like popping right in front of our face and blasting on upward, I'm not going to be as jumpy to it. So, yeah, IG, you got to be kidding me with this. For anyone that has trader's dyslexia, just check this out. I mean, this happens more often than you would imagine, where like by stroke of luck, you got number 12 IGT and you got number 13 TGI. Look at that on the gainer side. You see that? For anyone with trader's dyslexia like myself and Faust would be, more than happy to say he's got it worse than me, right? We talk about that all the time in the trading room. That's bad. IGT, TGI. All right. It doesn't look like either are making as good of a move either way. So I just found that to be a little funny, but let's see what else we got. CTIC, this had a really big iceberg order on the ask at $6. I was hopeful. I ended up taking a couple of losses going into this meeting, 4 or 5 cent losses, not like 1 or 2 cents where I would say it's break even, but, not too big. It's just to say, I was looking for this to try and make a new pop up towards the iceberg that's there at 6. I got in right off 581, but as soon as I got in, it pulled back lower. I'm like, all right, this is not the move. So I ended up cutting ties on that at 77, and it dropped off more since. So, it is shortable. It's tradable. So if it ends up breaking lower, that could be an interesting play. Right now, it's kind of straddling around the VWAP. So I would look for that to be support for right now. What else do we have here, folks? Let's see if there's anything else looking good here otherwise from the gainers side. I mean, if you're just joining this meeting now, I'm sure that you're aware the markets have been dropping off steady since, 12:30, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So, I always say this, we're not going to find a whole lot that's, running upward right now as the markets are steadily down. All right, let's see what we got here on the loser side right now, folks. See if there's anything looking a lot better. I mean, I certainly hope so. We got nothing on the main list just yet. We had a bunch of stocks that are down really big percentage wise. I mean, that's not as much because of the market, but perhaps because of news of their own, or maybe just like a short squeeze and then they've tanked again. So BVS, it's tradable, a little thin on tier size here on level 2, but liquid enough, and it's shortable. It's dropping down pretty steadily here. And it's also down enough to where if it fails to break any lower, or if it false breaks the support, then it's possible where the shorts cover, and this could be a nice dead cat bounce. So, you know what? I do like this one. BVS. Follow the trend down first. It's breaking all-time lows. So, respect the short, but if it ends up breaking under and over a big support level, then that's different. Or if it ends up holding here and really shows some strength on the bid, then, that's a little different. But let's focus on the eventual test of 3. I think at this UIS stock here too. I would imagine breaking all-time lows. Looking at the historical here, yeah, you have to actually go back a number of years since 2016, 2015, even as that. Oh, wow, even more. Holy smokes. All right, so since 2009, this stock was a $2.80 trade back in March of 09. So it didn't break all-time lows technically, but multi-year lows at least, really weak going into the late morning, the early afternoon. It is making a nicer bounce right now, actually. So, you know what? Like the BVS, it's down enough percentage-wise, and this actually has started to move up already. So UIS, I'll add to our list. Mark got nearly $1 on the short on SI. He wrote earlier, hey, it's good to take the money and run, but geez. So, let's just take a look. He got in from $40.43. He got out seemingly at $39.43 or $39.44. The thing is on this trade, and Mark knows this, right? And the reason I say that is because I do coaching with him on one-on-one. I talk to him like every week pretty much. And I know he knows this. This is a super thin trade, illiquid. It's like basically untradeable, right? So, man, this thing fell off a cliff, right? But you know what? From the entry that he took to still nab a clean dollar on it, and we don't necessarily look for the scalp, but in terms of opportunity cost and how much you're making per hour on this trade, it's definitely a nice penny. So, nice trade from Mark. It ended up crashing a lot more after, but I mean, hey, this thing has been free falling from the morning. For as much as it dropped, it could squeeze up. And with as illiquid as the order book is here, it's just too much of a gamble to try and hold on as a serious trade. We should have made our days pay from the morning session. And if you're just coming in right now, well, that the next best time is not now. It's actually at 3:30. So it's a nice warm-up trade for Mark. I actually think he ended up just coming back to his desk right now. So I think that may have been his first trade. So we'll put this on our watch list here. It's just really thin. It's definitely a level 5 stock. I would not recommend really many of us to be trading this at all. And if you are trading this, just given the price as well, I would only look to do maybe like a tenth of your normal share size. All right, probably a much better opportunity on Lyft. Ended up snapping below 11, and ever since, that was as clean as can be. This is a much easier trade to anticipate a potential hold through, just given how tight the order book is, the spread, and how liquid it is altogether. So you could see the 45,000 share iceberg on the bid at 1060. You could see the 58,000 share iceberg on the bid at 1050, right below that. So yeah, Lyft. I mean, hey, we have 4 stocks on our watch list, all from the loser side. And hell, 2 of them are potential dead cat bounces. So this could be a very interesting afternoon, folks. And speaking of dead cat bounces, I mean, I don't know if you're looking at the SPY chart here. It's on my 5-minute right now. Over the last 5 or so minutes, getting actually a pretty nice bounce here. Check in with some sideless stocks before we wrap up. We got a couple more here on the loser side, down big. You got Robinhood getting crushed today. That one is not listening to the market and this bounce here so far. So this one's still dropping off pretty nicely. Mark, look at that observation, man. You have definitely learned well, and I see it in the profits. Mark says, SPY back over the closing bell print. Very astute comment, Mark. Very nice. Got this light trade, 4.5 million shares. Just wanted to look at it here briefly. I knew for a more expensive stock, it would be pretty thin. All right. Where's Coinbase? Coinbase is like hiding somewhere here. There we go. Number 43. So Coinbase, just given the volatility, there was some news that came out with crypto exchange FTX. I got to look more into it actually, but we ended up seeing Coinbase follow the news down and ended up having a huge drop early on today. Got smashed. I mean, this is getting pretty close to all-time lows minute by minute even. So with that, I mean, it just broke back below 50, made for a 2-point drop off. And for right now, we'll definitely put this on our watch list. It is hard to borrow in TradeStation, so just be careful there. I mean, if it's definitively hard to borrow, then just move on to another trade. But otherwise, Coinbase is a short, just seeing if this could break lower. All right, folks, there's definitely more that's down percentage-wise. There's definitely more that's even up percentage-wise. So I'll need your help. If there's anything else looking really good, folks, up, down, left, right, more than 5%, just type it in the chat board here. Just let me know. Didn't mean to sound so blunt about political opinion earlier, but it is to say, though, that, it leads to a whole bunch of blah, 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 blah on the chat board. And we are here to make money, right? Jay-Z I got from Benzinga Pro, and this is just a gamble here. I mean, it's trying to squeak up, but if it was more liquid, I'd seriously consider it, but I'll pass for right now. The DWAC trade, just going back to DWAC here pretty quickly, this just broke back over 26 and 26.13. I had a nice profit on this earlier just going into the afternoon. It was right off the same level here that we just talked about from Traders Talk. You saw me post these levels up actually before this meeting started, and that was when I was in the trade. So with that, I ended up getting out, but I want to see if this could look to squeeze back up, and maybe first it could pull back towards 26 initially here one more time. 26, 26.13, and then for a potential squeeze up. This is more speculative play. And, honestly, just given how illiquid the order book is, I'm almost like, I don't like that. I thought it was going to be a little bit more filled in. I love DWAC because when it has good volume early in the morning, it can make for some pretty clean moves off the volume levels. Like we were talking about yesterday, and we were talking about in Traders Talk even earlier today, the opening bell print from this week from yesterday at 22.40. That led to the huge run up yesterday. This has been a fun stock to trade because it's been relatively predictable. It's just got such thin volume though. So I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to pass on it. Find some better stocks to trade, perhaps. That GRWG, I said I was going to get back to a couple that were on the side list. So let me just go to a couple of those here, folks. GRWG trying to move back up. Actually, right now, there's a big 33,000 share order on the bid at 425. So I don't know if that just popped up there, but that's pretty nice to have. Actually, I can tell you that just popped up. I can literally tell you that just popped up because this broke below 423, 425 here. And then just over the last few minutes, it pulled back above that price. Well, only after it pulled back above that price were you able to have an order show up on the bid. So yeah, that just popped up. That looks pretty nice to have. So we'll put this GRWG on our list. I was calling out resistance off the VWAP earlier off of 438 alongside the CTIC trade. This was another stock that I took a small loss on, a -5 right from 439. Right place, but wrong time. And I say right place because look what's happening now. We're getting the bounce, the move back up. So I don't mind taking a small loss. I mean, if it's the right setup, but especially if I have the chance to get back in, later on, maybe right place, wrong time at first. So that seems to be the case here. Give it a little bit more time, and I'd be interested maybe after 3 o'clock if this can make the rebreak over that 438 VWAP area. What else we got? We had NEO on our side list. That one's not doing a whole lot. We'll pass on NEO. Groupon. Groupon is doing a lot of things here. It's moving up from 840 up towards the highs. All right. Groupon will make the cut. We got a good list now, folks. I like this. Not a bad list. We got 2, 4, 6, 8 different stocks to work with in total. Nice variety, a couple level 1 or 2s out there, a couple, more volatiles out there, if anything. Had a question from one of us just inside the chat board, and, I don't mind answering this right now really briefly. If anything, just make sure if you are a trial member like Nadine is or any one of us otherwise just joining us here for the week, please make sure that you talk to your education advisor. They're kind of the middle person between you and Fausto, you and myself inside our live trading room. But question from Nadine asking hey, how do you categorize these stocks? What's a level 5 stock, for example, as I call it. So we categorize the stocks that we trade based off of volatility. So we teach that throughout our classes, the phase 1 stock course. It's to say, though, that for a stock that has a really big spread, illiquid order book, it's going to be more likely a level 4 or 5 stock as we would categorize it. So, there's other factors that come into that, but we teach that in class. All right, from Leda saying, keeping an eye on NCLH earnings today, not 5%. It was active from this morning, though. It was active from this morning. That was one that Brian got 70 cents on, I remember. So, yeah, it's already made its move, Leda. It's already ran earlier. Not much strength to this one right now. I like NCLH. If it was at the highs, I would definitely put it on our list. All right. I got nothing from social media, Facebook Live, or YouTube, and that's all right by me, folks. I think that we pretty much touched upon them all. One last look at Benzinga Pro before we wrap up. I mean, there's 1 or 2 that are starting to rev up a little bit. Just want to see what the chart looks like. And there we go. ARQQ. This thing is flying. This thing definitely is a low float, lower volume type of trade, meaning that you need to be extra careful on this stock, even more above anything else we already have on our list. So, you know what? I'll put this on our list, but just be very careful on this trade. Very thin volume out there on level 3. It's already moved up pretty nicely so far. So look to see this perhaps hold support over 9, and then we'll see what happens. ARQQ. Then we got one more, FTK. It's up 9%. Same deal. It's kind of wacky. Thin volume out there outside of the big resistance up top at 150. I don't have a great need to put this on our main list just yet, though. All right, so that's going to do it for me, folks. For all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, hey, just check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingyou. We're going to be posting a couple of different videos across this week from our Traders Talk workshop, a small little clip that we did from earlier today. Otherwise, though, we're going to be doing another video like I posted from last week in regards to trading a large cap stock like Shopify coming off the Fed rate. We'll do a very similar style video just on a separate topic, perhaps going into the end of this week, into the weekend. But otherwise, though, if you want to wanted to join our live trading room, just go right down to the link on the yellow banner below the stream just to get yourself signed up. Any questions, though, email me, josh@ctutrading.com. That goes, of course, for all of our members here inside our live trading room. Just feel free to email me or private chat me here. I'll be inside the trading room up until the market close. Just private chat me any questions that you have, folks, and I'll be more than happy to work with you on the side. But Rich will be on the mic coming up from 3 to 4 o'clock, and then we'll go from there, folks. Talk to you soon.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9. Do it today.